volunteers help firefighters in Taipei's Sanchong district as they respond to an early morning fire on August 4th. We'll meet a firefighter who has been a vegetarian for 20 years and learn about what it takes to stay strong eating vegetarian. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Duncan, DeAeth, and thank you for joining us. Following the Ecuador earthquake, the government has implemented a special tax to create the National Reconstruction Fund. Although international aid has poured into the country, remote villages and towns are still waiting for the aid. Tzu Chi volunteers in Ecuador on the morning of August 3rd carried out a distribution in Canoa. A special list of disadvantaged people was used to give them priority treatment at this aid distribution.
Tzu Chi volunteers on August 3rd returned to Canoa, and we can see this entire park is full of earthquake survivors who are awaiting for this aid distribution to begin. Tzu Chi has mobilized 28 volunteers from 6 different countries to carry out this work in Canoa.
我们是美国的志工，我们是台湾志工，我们是阿根廷来的志工，我是多米尼加志工。Yo soy voluntaria ecuatoriana. 我们是巴拉圭东方市的志工，耶！
Volunteers from 6 different countries come together to overcome challenges and adversity, leading to the perfect execution of this aid distribution.
Including changing planes, I took about 12 hours to arrive here.
算运气蛮好的，我们4个人4件行李都还没有到。
我们感同身受，所以我们就是全力以赴哈。
Master Zheng Yan specifically said the U.S. should show support. Our U.S. team cannot be absent from this activity.
Volunteers responsible for collecting a list of names for this distribution have been hampered by the fact that no international aid organizations nor reconstruction funds have come to this area.
Especially the elderly people with disabilities. We don't have any opportunity to help. Even little things, such as meeting place for those with disabilities. But so far, we haven't had any assistance.
Today is August 3rd, and we are at the aid distribution site. And what we can see is that the elderly and those with disabilities receive priority in the distribution. Today, we probably have more than 200 elderly and 15 people with disabilities.
Thank you. Thank you because you make us very happy.
God bless you for giving us so much.
At this Tzu Chi distribution in Canoa, a total of 437 Jingsa folding beds were distributed, along with 1,462 blankets, with some 2,200 people benefiting from this aid. This distribution has given residents of the disaster area more hope and encouragement.
On August 4th, Tzu Chi volunteers aided local firefighters in New Taipei's Sanchong district on Zhongxin Road when a fire broke out early in the morning. 8 buildings were affected for a total of 26 apartment units. The blaze required a large number of firefighters to be deployed. When local Tzu Chi volunteers heard the news, 20 volunteers responded by providing water, grass jelly soup, and lunch.
The fire quickly spreads to 8 buildings. 220 police and firefighters are mobilized. 30-degree heat together with fire makes the scene unbearably hot. Sanchong District Tzu Chi volunteers quickly mobilized, bringing water. Telephone contact is established to respond to the needs of firefighters.
有师兄师姐拿了长舟过来。
有，我联络了，我已经联络了。过来的时候，你们车子要让我们进来。
With tables delivered to the site, volunteers from the Tzu Chi Sanchong grounds quickly respond, and 3 tables are quickly set up and laid with sports drinks to aid firefighters. The grass jelly soup that was originally to be served at the Tzu Chi Sanchong grounds was brought over for these firefighters. Some 20 volunteers also came to help out, and when lunchtime neared, they prepared lunch boxes for all of these hungry and exhausted firefighters.
A total of 48 Tzu Chi volunteers and volunteers in training from the north and northeast of China traveled to Taiwan to attend a training session. The volunteers in training visited recycling stations as well as conducted home visitations with Tzu Chi volunteers. They not only learned to sort recyclables, but also experienced recycling work in different communities. Many claimed they learned a lot from this experience. Here's more.
This woman who is busy sorting recyclables is Sun Xiaojie. Because she comes from China's Heihe, city of Heilongjiang province, she needs to spend 4 days going back and forth to attend a volunteer training session in Beijing.
I have to spend 4 days traveling back and forth to take lessons for 2 days. Despite the long journey, I have learned many things from each class.
The Tzu Chi volunteer Cao Yong comes from Shenyang. He endeavors to promote benefits of vegetarianism as well as recycling in local communities.
We rented a house as a recycling station so that Tzu Chi volunteers can come and do recycling together here.
48 people from the north and northeast of China have traveled to a recycling station in central Taiwan. They not only join in to sort recyclables, but also experience the recycling work in different communities.
I hope these experiences benefit them and encourage them to bring recycling concepts to China.
Apart from experiencing recycling, these in-training volunteers also made home visitations with Tzu Chi volunteers and learned many things from the journey.
To make students' summer vacation more meaningful, Tzu Chi volunteers from Taoyuan and Nehu organized exploration camps in both regions. Let's see what the children got up to at these 3-day camps.
It's not every day that city dwellers get to see a vegetable garden, let alone have the opportunity to harvest vegetables. But these children soon get the hang of it. These children manage everything on their own, from the harvesting to the sorting of vegetables. Besides farming, they have another mission. Next, they visit parks, the market, and stores to promote their cause. Overcoming fear and shyness, trainees invited adults to sign a pledge to show their support for environmental protection and gave them fresh vegetables as a token of their appreciation.
People throw their trash everywhere, even on the beach or into the sea. The rubbish then gets eaten by fish and other sea animals.
We should limit our use of plastic bags and make an effort to safeguard the planet.
Residents responded willingly and agreed to support the children's cause.
This is a meaningful event. We should try our best to reduce our carbon footprint, limit our use of plastic bags, and plant more organic crops.
Not only have these children learned to be more independent over the course of this camp, they have learned the value of giving. Here in Taoyuan, Tzu Jings visit patients at a nursing home and also seize the opportunity to serve their parents tea.
I received a call just 2 days before Mother's Day. I hadn't even sent out my Mother's Day card when I learned my mother had passed away. So always show your love before it's too late.
Volunteer Zhang Renxing says he is very grateful to attend this camp with his family this year.
My wife is a team leader and I am also helping out. We are very fortunate to be here and cultivate blessings on behalf of my family.
Experiencing the inner joy that comes from helping others, participants' lives have been enriched as a result.
The students from 4 schools in Taiwan and Thailand came together for an exchange program where they learned about traditional festivals and the cultivation of land. They also made community visitations to experience different cultures.
Students of Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School are in Thailand for an exchange program. They show local students Taiwanese culture and the Tzu Chi spirit. The teachers and the students of Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School also experienced the Thai festival of Khao Phasa. All the teachers and the students of Chiang Mai Tzu Chi School present food to Thai monks and pray for an abundant harvest of their farm's produce.
有的人帮忙播种，有的人帮忙
Some people planted seeds and some turned over the soil. Although it was very hot today, nobody said they were tired.
They also go to communities to visit needy people. The nursing students realize they must be patient while dealing with people.
I feel I must use what I have learned to benefit other people and those who are sick.
Tzu Chi taught us to have love, to be humble, and to give. Being able to do that is a real life blessing.
The nursing students from the Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology also go along to see the patients. Their singing brings warmth to patients.
To make the most of their summer vacation, a group of 14 students from National Taiwan University traveled to Malaysia and Sarawak. They visited some impoverished families with Tzu Chi volunteers from Kuching and helped to clean their homes, including the home of one care recipient whose house was filled with clutter accumulated over 20 years. Let's see how these students and volunteers managed what seemed like an impossible mission. Before cleaning the homes of care recipients, these students listened carefully to the Tzu Chi volunteers' instructions.
我们今天去的呢是要打扫的呢是两户，他是两兄弟住在同一个屋檐下。
Following the footsteps of Tzu Chi volunteers, 14 students of National Taiwan University worked together to help clean up the environment as soon as they arrived at the care recipient's home. As there is no garbage truck that passes through the area, garbage is piled up everywhere inside and outside of Guan's house.
We originally wanted to clean out all the items. However, we found that we were unable to do so. We felt a bit depressed, but afterwards we realized that our efforts did in fact make a difference.
During the cleanup, I asked them to take a look at the garbage and think what had led to the accumulation of trash. This is what we need to discuss and look into in this service learning program.
Despite the heat, everyone works with one heart to complete the mission in order to restore a more comfortable living environment for the Guan brothers.
As there are too many items, it seems like there is just a never-ending amount of trash. However, I didn't hear any of the trainees complain at all.
Apart from cleaning out the trash that has accumulated for nearly 20 years, the trainees also had the chance to be teachers for the day.
We also discussed the importance of education yesterday, so I thought I could teach this little girl how to write, as well as raise her environmental awareness.
These students put their compassion into action and realized the joys of serving others. A common misconception regarding a vegetarian diet is that one cannot get enough protein and stay healthy. But is that really the case? Dietitians say that vegetarians tend to consume too many carbohydrates, and this stimulates the release of insulin, making one feel even hungrier. Thus, it is important for vegetarians to maintain a balanced diet to ensure enough protein, iron, and minerals. We'll meet a firefighter, Wu Feng-hong, from Taichung, Taiwan, who has been a vegetarian for 20 years. Even though firefighting is one of the most physically demanding jobs, Wu says a meatless diet has not impacted his physical strength at all.
各位同仁，火警出勤，出动1112。
In the event of a fire, firefighters must suit up and get the engine on the road all within 80 seconds.
The safety of our residents is our first priority, so we have to act very quickly.
车辆早上都会做车辆成件检查。
42-year-old Wu Feng-hong has been a firefighter for 6 years. Although firefighting is a physically demanding job for Wu, who has been a vegetarian for 20 years, a meatless diet has not impacted his physical strength at all.
体力上是没有差别的。
He is still very fit, but he's more gentle in his approach with others.
是我通常都会准备一些，就是我的食物。这个是汤，对，冷冻汤包。
A meatless diet is easier for me because I don't have to spend so much time thinking about what I want to eat and prepare.
When Wu is on duty, he packs his own vegetarian lunchbox, which he will often share with his fellow firefighters. When it comes to vegetarianism, many people presume a meatless diet is unhealthy and one cannot be satiated. However, dietitians say it is important to make healthy food choices and limit one's intake of carbohydrates.
Overconsumption of carbohydrates causes a rapid rise in blood glucose, which stimulates the release of insulin. The higher the level of insulin, the hungrier one feels.
For instance, sweet potato, taro, pumpkin, as well as red beans and barley are all high-starch vegetables. Thus, one should restrict the amount of carbohydrates to one serving per meal. Instead, opt for foods that are high in protein, such as bean curd and tofu.
Once the digestive system breaks down the protein in our body, it also increases intestinal motility by 30%.
Eating slowly and chewing your food completely helps to decrease intake and improve satiety. Nutrients that one would find in meat such as iron, protein, vitamins can also be found in vegetables. Dark green leafy vegetables such as rapeseed, spinach, and sweet potato leaf are especially good sources of iron, whereas mushrooms and seaweed are excellent sources of protein. Here are some vegetarian recipes that are both satisfying and delicious. To prepare this dish of rapeseed and almonds, first boil the rapeseed, then soak it in cold water once it's cooked to preserve its crispiness. Add almonds in last for extra flavor. This dish is packed with protein and minerals. You can also try celery stir-fried bean curd, which is high in protein, fiber, and vitamins. Lastly, this braised tofu and peanut dish is flavorful and high in proteins and minerals. These vegetarian recipes are healthy, delicious, quick, and easy to make.
The Tzu Chi Singapore chapter recently held 4 different events to mark the beginning of the 7th lunar month, which attracted around 1,300 participants. At the events, volunteers offered performances meant to teach the audience about vegetarianism and encourage them to stop burning joss paper in order to protect the earth.
I'm burning the joss paper to buy him passage to the afterlife. If he doesn't make it through, he won't be able to return.
The actors are acting out some of the superstitious traditions related to the 7th lunar month, and they are using the performance to teach audience members not to burn the joss paper and also to encourage vegetarianism.
There is no telling how many animals we have eaten in our lives. We must stop eating meat.
Who wants to be slaughtered and eaten? What if we are animals in our next lives? We wouldn't want to be killed to feed humans, right? So I don't want to take life and eat meat either.
In Singapore, volunteers held 4 separate events meant to dispel the myths and superstitions surrounding the traditions of the 7th lunar month. In total, over 1,000 people came to participate.
Why would your ancestors want to hurt you? When I heard that and thought about it, that's when I finally decided to let go of the old superstitions.
The performance from the volunteers moves the audience and inspires them to take the first step.
After watching these scenes about not burning joss paper and eating vegetarian, I won't burn the joss paper again, and I don't think we need to anymore. Before we did it all the time, but from now I won't be buying it anymore. I have recommended against burning joss paper for a long time, but people always say you need to do it. But after listening today, I've decided we don't need to do it. We could use the money for charity. That would be much more meaningful, right?
Instead of spending money on the joss paper, in the future, the residents can use the money to help others. The volunteers here at the Jingsi Hall are happy to see people receptive to their lessons, and they will continue to encourage others to protect the earth and care for others by giving up old superstitions. Tzu Chi volunteers in Taiwan are promoting correct religious practice during the 7th lunar month among the public. Recently, they went to the Thai Power office in Hualien and encouraged staff members to be vegetarians and not to burn joss paper for the sake of the environment.
Tzu Chi volunteers are at Thai Power office in Hualien to promote the correct religious practice during the 7th lunar month through video and explanation.
Being a vegetarian carries a lot of merits. I ask everyone to do good deeds, starting from your daily food intake.
Tzu Chi volunteers appeal to the public to be vegetarians so they can protect lives. It is also a way to save the earth.
Meat production is so resource-intensive, so it is more environmentally friendly if we can be vegetarians. It can also prevent us from killing animals for their meat, so I feel we should support it.
我们是说七月是吉祥月啊，为什么在吉祥月里面要普渡？为什么？
Tzu Chi volunteers also visited Jewish Borod in Hualien and hold a tea party at the home of the Borod head to promote vegetarianism and the idea of not burning Jewish paper.
近距离的互动呢？
Close interaction with the residents allows us to promote our cause even more directly.
直接的分享给大家。
The residents listen attentively and share how they feel. They also support vegetarianism and want to be a part of it.
If we don't eat meat, it's good for our health and will save us too.
We need everyone to work together. One person alone cannot make it work.
Taipei's 2nd Brigade of Firefighters has been busy the past year, from the Fuxing plane crash to the Tainan earthquake. A new captain was recently assigned to the brigade, and at the start of the 7th lunar month, he invited Tzu Chi to come and hold a prayer service on behalf of the department, to encourage the firemen and express gratitude for the department's hard work and selfless service to the community. The brigade captain rings the Bodhi bell to lead his fellow firefighters in prayer.
Given our work, we may be called at any time to put out a fire or conduct rescue operations, so it may happen that we only finish half of a meal, then have to drop everything and run out to work. Very often we don't get to eat our fill before the alarm bell goes off.
We all especially think of our work as a service to the community. We do our work out of a desire to do good for others. We are very much like Tzu Chi in this way.
A new captain has been in charge the past 3 months, and out of consideration for his brigade's health and their state of mind, the department invited Tzu Chi volunteers to hold a prayer ceremony in their office to pray for blessings during the 7th lunar month.
The captain served 3 districts in Taipei, Xinyi, Nangang, and Da'an. I told him, you do this out of love for people. So why not also pray for peace in the world out of love?
Concerned for the firemen's health, volunteers put their love into making a variety of healthy and delicious dishes.
The Tainan earthquake and the plane crash of Fuxing Airlines, they were out there helping people. Those rescue teams were made of firefighters. We really express our gratitude to them. But to them, this is just their work, something they are supposed to do.
Tzu Chi has been there to support these hardworking public servants for decades, looking after them just as a mother cares for her children. At the end of today's program, we'll see how Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia are cooperating with the Indonesian military to provide food to economically struggling villagers. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time.